Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Interfaith Friends Vodcast. So I am here again with my friend Holly Farber from the Jewish Community Relations Council. And you are seeing this about a month after the last conversation we had, and we're recording this about 6 minutes after the last conversation that we had because September, I almost said February. This coming month is not February, it is September. September is a really full month on the Jewish calendar. And so we thought we would have this conversation now so that you can enjoy and experience your holiday without holidays without another commitment on your calendar. And look, everybody, I was going to say I started my timer this time. I didn't actually. Ready? I'm going to push start. So I'm timing us this time because, it's just better that way. Okay, so we talked last time about Rosh Hashanah as the beginning of the new year, right? And that's 2 days. And from sundown, and then a full day, and then another almost full day to sundown. September 6th through 8th this year. Is that correct?
Yep.
And then you have this period of the days of awe or the days of repentance when you're sort of doing the work of going back to the people who you've harmed and making amends and searching inward and those kinds of things. And then that leads to Yom Kippur. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. And then
okay.
So it's a season. It's not just a holiday, it's the holiday season. And then right at the end of Yom Kippur, there's a tradition which our family follows that you begin building your sukkah, which is this little booth that it's actually a part of a harvest holiday in the land of Israel, and where you dwell in this, it's like a tent without a roof that has just some branches on the top of the roof. And it's a really fun holiday also of a time of communal gathering, and a time in some ways it's kind of interesting because it's the time of gathering the harvest. So it should be a time of bounty, but we experience it also as a time of scarcity. It's almost like you're living literally in a roofless tent. And so this idea of fragility becomes a big piece, and communal gathering becomes a big piece of the end of that. And that is an 8-day celebration holiday. But that holiday, you're working during that time. Also, like you take off Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and the first day is Sukkot and the last, but in between that, are regular work days.
Okay.
So I do have some stuff that I thought I would show.
We had lots of show and tell stuff for last time, and we didn't get to any of it. So I'm very excited to see. Well, we got. I
want to share my show and tell stuff with with the Shepherd of the Lakes community. I think I briefly showed you this shofar. It's so big. We actually got this shofar in Jerusalem. Carried it back on the plane. It was like a whole big carry-on thing. And I try, but I'm not very good at all at blowing the shofar. So I'm going to give you, but this is a ram's horn. It's literally, this is what a ram's horn is. Okay. And I shared, so the sound of the shofar, I'm going to send a YouTube link, so that you can listen to the sound of the shofar. It's an eternal sound. It was in Torah when Abraham was supposed to sacrifice his son Isaac. Instead of sacrificing Isaac, there was a ram caught in the brush right near where that sacrifice was supposed to take place, caught by the horn. And that ram was caught by the horn and ended up being the sacrifice instead of Isaac. And so the ram's horn is this eternal sound and symbol. And it's a very, one of the things I think is kind of profound about it. It's supposed to awaken the small voice inside of you, the voice that sometimes gets drowned out by the noise of our lives. And it's supposed to awaken that part of you that demands of yourself to just be a little better, maybe than you were yesterday, maybe a little kinder, maybe a little more generous and loving. So it's supposed so this sound is supposed to awaken the kindness in you, or the gratitude in you, or the generosity in you, the good things. And the other things I wanted to show you are, so on Friday nights for the Sabbath, we always have, we set our table and we have wine and we give charity and we bless our children. And, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. So the shofar, is that blown every Sabbath or just on high holy days?
Such a good question. Actually, I love that question. If Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur happen to fall on the Sabbath, we don't blow the shofar. You only blow the shofar non-Sabbath because it's considered work. Even though you don't do other forms of work on the high holidays, you do blow the shofar on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. It's particularly associated with the high holidays of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And in our synagogue in Beth Jacob, one of the things that we do is we ask people who are good at blowing the shofar, like there's always one person, they blow it in the front, but then for actually Holocaust Remembrance Day, everybody brings their shofar, and then there's like 100 shofars being blown. It's really soul stirring. So no, there's a whole specific way somebody calls out the tune, and then the person who is blowing the shofar plays that specific tune, and it's at different times during the service. Mm-hmm. It's a very particularistic ritual of the synagogue. So, and there's also, I actually also have like a little cute one. I don't even know if this is like more of a decorative one. So that's a ram's horn, but I got this as a gift. Kind of cute, right?
Yeah,
cute and fun. So also on Friday nights, we have a covering for our bread. And this one says Shabbat. So that's for the Sabbath. But on the holidays, we have one that says Shabbat and Yom Tov. So for Sabbath and holidays. So we have like a special covering for our bread that we use on the holidays that we would not like. So just if it's a Sabbath and a holiday, we have like a separate special one. And then we wear white, which is why I'm wearing white today. We often wear white. Here's a white kippah that we will use for the holiday. And I have a special white prayer shawl. And I know because we talked about, so this is my special tallis that I wear for the high holidays. And I would say that a lot of people, I think we talked about this before, at Shepherd of the Lakes, a lot of people come to church for Christmas and Easter that aren't normally coming during a regular Sunday. And the same thing is true for us. We probably have twice as many people show up for services. Well, in pre-pandemic times, show up for services for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur than come regularly during the year. So, and for my family, we're a family that goes to the synagogue pretty regularly. So we sort of climb up one more rung on the ladder of observance during the high holidays. So we refrain from driving. We only walk. We refrain from turning on lights and using electricity. We don't use money. So we kind of go up, and there's people who every Sabbath refrain from those things. So maybe everybody kind of climbs one or two rungs up on the ladder. I wouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people kind of climb up a rung or two on the ladder. And we center ourselves in prayer. I have a little prayer book that I keep at home. This one is just for the high holidays. So this is not the one that you use on a regular Sabbath. And I can share some passages that kind of center the holidays if you want, or if you have another question, you can go ahead with that.
No, I'd love to hear the prayer. That's
okay.
So when you say the holiday, is this Yom Kippur that you're talking about? Or any holiday, or is it specific to one holiday, this prayer?
So when I was talking about I would say the holiday season,
yes,
which is Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and then Sukkot to follow. And then we also, believe it or not, there's also more holidays. There's the holiday. So this year on September 28th. So Sukkot begins on September 19th, goes till the 27th. And then there's the final holiday in the season of holidays begins on September 28th and goes till the 29th, which is the birthday of the Torah. It's called Simchat Torah. And that is super fun. And so the Torah is a scroll. It's not like you can get a copy of the Torah, which is like regular pages, but the reading of the Torah is a scroll. So you imagine like it's all on one side and then you read it and you switch the story, and you roll it. It's a horizontal scroll. Actually, there are vertical scroll. There are stand-ups and lay-downs. We use the lay-down one, but there are ones that are stand-up ones. And so at the beginning, all the weight is on one side, and at the end, all the weight's on the other, right? Because it's this huge, enormous scroll. I mean, if you unrolled it, it would go all the way around a huge room. I can't, it's huge. And so you end it and then you start it again. And there's this whole drama of re-rolling the scroll to get it to the beginning.
Yeah.
And reading the beginning. And the person who gets the honor of reading the first passage of the year, which is Bereshit, bara Elohim et hashamayim v'et haaretz. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Like that person is in our congregation is like the premier volunteer, the person who's done the most work in the kitchen or with the children or whatever. And my mom got the honor 2 years ago. It was like such a thing for our whole family that my mom got to be the one who was like the premier. So the end of this whole season will be the September 29th. So that will be the birthday of the Torah. And that is super festive. That is dancing and candy and singing. And it's really fun. So it's this whole entire season, the whole season. So the season starts September 6th and ends September 28th.
Okay. Yeah.
You were right to book me now.
I know, that's what I thought too. Okay. So when we were gonna, I think it was the first year that we were visiting Beth Jacob for the Honoring Our Neighbor's Faith class from Shepherd of the Lake. And I was looking at our class schedule, trying to put together the syllabus. And I thought, I don't remember what the date was, like September, fill in the blank, whatever. And I was like, that would be perfect for us. I'll see if that works for Holly. And then I had like this like moment where I was like, maybe I should check the Jewish holiday calendar, right? And I looked and it was Rosh Hashanah. And I was like, oh my gosh, that would be like you calling me and saying, hey, I have a group that's going to learn about Christianity. Can we come over and take a tour on December 24th at like maybe 5:00?
Okay,
sure, no problem.
I love that you told, I love this story. But so let's kind of put it out there. The thing is that if you had said that to me, there's nothing offensive about that. It's so beautiful that you want to come and you want to learn and you want to tour Beth Jacob. And I would have said, that happens to be Rosh Hashanah, whatever. But so like, let's pause for a moment and, talk about the fact that in interfaith work, you're going to say something awkward. I have also I was out with my son and his roommate at the U, and he was a Muslim kid. And so there was something that came with bacon on, and I said, maybe we don't eat bacon, but you can give the bacon to him. Well, he was a Muslim. He doesn't eat bacon either. And I'm like, I'm such an idiot. So like, we're all going to like low key do things that where we show that we have something to learn, and we just can't worry about it because otherwise the conversation would be shut down.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah. Grace abounds. And
exactly.
I usually learn after I'm like, what is that funny taste in my mouth? Oh, it's my foot. Awesome. Right? Like someone's like, what's in your mouth? I think it's your foot. But you just
exactly. But like,
not okay.
Like get out there and ask the questions because the intention is what matters.
Yes.
You can feel the intention. I mean, sometimes if somebody says, "Are you Jewish?" you can hear it as an accusation. There's something, but most of the time when people want it, like there's sometimes when it can be a little bit uncomfortable or a little bit scary. But somebody could say something else to me that would be, you know how it feels when someone is welcoming, when the question comes from a place of good intention or a place of scary intention or hurtful intention. So everything that you ever, say or do, it comes from you. And that's always a great place. It's always a great place. So I think we need to.
I also want to be open to learning too. And if I would say something that would be like horribly offensive or even a little bit offensive, if somebody would say to me then like, hey, this is how that was received, right? I may know that my intentions were good, but what matters is how it was received. So I can learn from that and not do it again and make amends, right? So anyway, it's like, point being, it's messy.
Mm-hmm.
It's messy.
No, I wished happy Eid to a Muslim friend and it was not Eid, but on my iCal it was because, they have to spot the moon.
Yeah.
So you get the day wrong. It's really easy to get the day wrong. You can get the day wrong for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur because it's different every year.
Yeah.
So, right. And he said, thank you so much for the good wishes. It's actually not Eid. And I'm like, oops, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like early or late.
Right. Well, I want to make sure that we get to that prayer that you were talking about because you shared a little bit of it with me and spoiler alert, it's gorgeous.
So this is what I'm going to, these are my little Post-it notes, but this is a book that I keep at home. It's a high holiday prayer book. So it's, as you can see, it's white, keeping in the theme. And we only use it for the high holidays. So there's a lot of great stuff in here, but I'm going to just share one of the passages. O God, divine ruler of the universe, as the twilight of the old year fades into the night that marks the birth of another year, we gather together in your house with mingled emotions, mindful of the blessings and the sorrows thou hast seen fit to lay upon us. O Lord, you are without beginning and without end. Before you, time and change are as naught. 1,000 years in your sight is as yesterday when it is past. But as for us, our years are numbered. Every hour is precious, for you has set a limit to our days on earth. On Rosh Hashanah, we will become aware of the flight of time, the vanity of our possessions, and the uncertainty of life. We feel the need of pursuing that which is timeless and indestructible. Oh, may our prayers on these holy days arouse within us lofty resolves, stimulate us to find richer meaning and fuller content in all our daily tasks and aspirations. We pray that this year be for us and for all humanity, a year of life and health, a year of sustenance and cheer. Help to make it a year of consecration to the Torah, of devotion to your people, and of service to humanity, a year of faith and wisdom to meet the perplexities and perils which may beset us. On this Rosh Hashanah and the days to come, may we acknowledge you and regard all humanity as one. May it be a year of peace, concord, and serenity, a year in which your spirit will fill our hearts everywhere. Amen.
Thank you for sharing that. Beautiful.
I know. I mean, doesn't it read differently when we're in the middle of a pandemic?
Yeah.
These words are ancient. And they sure jump out in terms of human vulnerability with a new meaning.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. I felt the weight of that when we had our Ash Wednesday services last year too, which is also that time when in our tradition where people voluntarily come to get ashes on their forehead in the shape of a cross. And have the words spoken to them, remember that you're a dust and to dust you shall return, right? Where we remember that, we belong to God and it's like, what we do matters and we don't have to do all of it and God's with us in it and especially like the difficult pieces. So, and I heard that in that prayer as well. So.
Well, we talked about that and the idea of these two big thoughts that your choices are so important. Your life matters so much. And also that you're dust, like that holding those two truths, is complex to hold them both. but it's a really, they're important conversations to have, right? There's not an answer. It's a conversation. And so maybe one of the things that we do is we try to have these complex conversations. We talk about renewal, not necessarily at the beginning, but in the middle of our lives. Renewal, the opportunities for renewal and fresh starts wherever we may find ourselves, not and the yardstick of measuring ourselves not against somebody else, but against who we might become, the gifts that we have and how we might actualize them. And bringing sweetness, and I showed this before and I'll show it again, bringing apples and honey or honey with anything, bringing sweetness into that work, because that work should not be bitter. I'll read this. I read you for the opening prayer for Rosh Hashanah, but I'll read you a little bit from the Yom Kippur, which is actually, this is the opening prayer for Yom Kippur. We ask ourselves these questions: what is our life? And of what avail our strength? What is our wealth? And what purpose our power? We lift up our eyes to you, God, and yearn for your light and inspiration. On this Yom Kippur night, sanctified by sacred memories, united with generations of the past, recalling our ancestors, we stand before you, stripped of all pretense and revealed in our weakness. Oh, you who see all, who know how frail and fragile we are, we aim toward lofty heights, but temptation overcomes us. Envy and arrogance eat into the marrow of our bones. We are creatures of haphazard living. We stumble and fall. Strengthen us in our weak moments and guide our faltering footsteps. Speak to our hearts with the still small voice of your spirit, so we may search our ways and return. Cause us to be forgiving, even as we ask to be forgiven. Cause us to discover the faults of our ways, so that we may not repeat the trespasses for which we repent on this day.
Mm. What more can you ask for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. These are good conversations to have with ourselves, with the people we love and know and trust as communities. And I am so incredibly grateful for this conversation today. Incredibly grateful for your friendship over these last years and that we get to do this work together. And I just want to say thanks.
I want to say thank you, and for the space that you create to have these conversations, and for your curiosity, and for you show up in the fullness of your humanity. And I'm sure that the people of Shepherd of the Lakes are as aware as I am about the community that you're building, and that it's always a work in progress. Mm-hmm. And as a friend, when I have called on you, you've always shown up, and I really appreciate it. And to the wonderful community of Shepherd of the Lakes, I wish you really sweetness. And this is my apple and honey, and I've already dipped into several, and I'll dip into several more. But I wish you sweetness, and blessings, and health, and joy, and happiness, and all those good things.
And you, and blessings on your holiday celebrations. I know we're airing this after the holiday season, but we're recording it beforehand. So technology is just like weird, but so I'm going to both preemptively and retroactively all at the same time wish you blessings on your holiday season.
Thank you, and same to you.
All right, take care. Thanks, Holly.